Did you know that Northumberland County in Ontario is a hotbed of rug hooking? We have many hookers here, and today we're going to feature just a small snippet of the talent found within our borders. There's several rug hooking groups within the county. There are folks in Campbellford, there's the Woolwrights Group, and Northumberland Rug Hookers. There are many opportunities to showcase rugs, and we had a hard time knowing who to include. We decided to do house tours because we've noticed in other Zoom events that our members were always keen to look at the homes of other folks as they related to rug hooking. We're hopeful that future annual conferences will feature a house tour of some sort. In case you didn't know, Northumberland County is located between Lake Ontario and Rice Lake and is a mix of country and town settings. If you've traveled the Highway 401 east of Toronto, you've driven through Northumberland County, and perhaps you visited Port Hope, Cobourg, Brighton, or Campbellford. Now on to the show. Iris Vermeulen and her husband Bram live in a striking modern house perched on the edge of a ravine. It was designed by their architect daughter and built in 2009. You can tell a hooker lives here as there are 6 hooked items within view of the front door. Let's pan around the hallway to check these out. We'll come back to look at them in detail in a minute. And here's that $1 million review of the ravine from the living room window. And let's head back. This is the palm frond. It's designed by Iris and was completed in 2016. It won the Rowan Award and Original Design First Place at the annual in 2017. This is a geometric designed by Julia Burrows and completed in 2012. It took first place at the Northumberland Hook-In in 2012. This is Leaves, which is a homage to Robert Kushner. It was designed and hooked by Iris and completed in 2021. And now back to the living room. First up is this Cruel pillow that was designed and hooked by Iris. And this is a Macintosh Rose, which is a DeFranza design project that Iris hooked in 2015. Everything else in the house was designed by Iris. Here's a selection of pillows on the sofa. Heading on to other parts of the house, this one is a rhododendron, hooked in 2017. And this is a high bush cranberry from 2019. And this is Lichen Forest, a 2020 project. Now heading down the stairway, you'll see on the right-hand side there's another project. This one is Kayaking on Georgian Bay, which is from Iris's cottage near Parry Sound. And this is another one, which is Begonia Leaves from 2010. Now back through the stairway and into the kitchen, where we'll see Strawberry Tree. And this one dates from 2002. And finally, we have Iris's most recent rug from 2022. It was inspired by Kuba cloth designs and is called Africa. And let's take a quick moment and check out where Iris's studio is. You can imagine that view, and doing your color planning all in one spot would be a lovely place to do it. Dolores Skelly and her husband Bob have lived in this lovely bungalow in Port Hope for almost 8 years. She's lived throughout Ontario, including places like Tillsonburg, Milton, and Bobcaygeon. Dogs are a big part of Dolores's life. She's had 5 Yorkies over the years, and this is the latest one, Abby. And the dogs also feature in a lot of her projects. This is one of her earlier dogs named Gabe. And this is another one. This is of Abby. Dolores began hooking in 1983, and this is her beginner project, still looking lovely after almost 40 years of daily use. The centerpiece of Dolores's living room is this fabulous rug. It's a large padula designed by Ingrid Hieronymus and hooked in a wide cut. It won a first prize at the annual in Brantford in 1998. Dolores also does tiny things. This is a rug she hooked not with a 2-cut, but with the threads from her worms. It took her as long as a regular size Oriental would have. Ingrid Hieronymus's work features significantly in Dolores's projects, as she was a regular at Ingrid's studio in Kitchener for many years and a frequent attendee at Ragtime School in Niagara Falls. This was the first project that resulted from Dolores's attendance at Ragtime. This is another Ingrid project completed in 2000 using several dip dyes. And this is one from Dolores's studio of Victorian houses. She said it was a lot of fun to complete, and it's an Ingrid pattern as well. This is an interesting project. It's a gout stool meant to coddle your foot. Dolores's husband Bob made the frame, and she hooked the rest with a coat of arms design. And here's a selection of other rugs found throughout Dolores's home. This is a pattern from Jane Nevins. On the left, we have a Pearl McGowan pattern, and on the right is a Karen Kaiser pattern. In fact, flowers of all types are found in Dolores's work. Here's a selection of flower projects throughout her house. And getting away from the flower theme, this is from a class called Study in White with Capri Boyle-Jones. Now let's check out Dolores's studio. This is her guest room, which also houses a Murphy bed in behind where the portrait of Abby is. She's all kinds of great stash. This is one of the items from the floor in there. Dolores also maintains a hooking journal listing the details of each project, and she's allowed us to photograph a few of the pages. She's maintained it for several years, and each item has a Polaroid photograph accompanying the description. It's a great idea. If only we were all this organized. Joyce lives in a lovely 1850s farmhouse north of Coburg. It's full of hook treasures, and we'll be showing you just a small portion of her work. Joyce is generous with her hooking, and we know there are many pieces found in the homes of friends and family members. Our date of film was a dull gray winter one, so we've interspersed these photos with ones taken on sunnier days. Joyce firmly believes that rugs are meant to be used, so you'll see many of these treasures getting a daily workout. You'll also see her cat Kitty, who was keen to provide assistance during our visit. Joyce started hooking in 1972, taking a class from Jean Field. Here she is with her very first hooked project. It wasn't long, though, before Joyce branched out into rugs. Here's her very first rug-sized project. From there, she gained in confidence and skill. Here's her second rug, designed for her mother. The background was a large piece of rust-colored fabric that, when wetted, leached all of the color out to produce this lovely green-blue. While Joyce has certainly done a number of commercial patterns, she has a degree in fine art and has designed many of her own rugs, drawing from a wide variety of styles. Here's her first self-designed rug. It's a bit hard to see as there's a lot of furniture in that room, but here's a corner of the rug to give you an idea. In her kitchen, you'll see this large beauty. It features recycled wool from camel hair coats and a horse blanket, among other things. Its large size meant that Joyce had to support its weight on a TV table while working with a hoop in her lap. Here's another one she drew herself and then dyed the wool for it. Another large rug in her living room is the self-drawn William Morris-style rug. It's too large for us to show you the whole thing, so we'll cheat and show you a piece of it. This is another William Morris design, and it's my personal favorite. Sailing with her husband was also a big part of Joyce's life. This is when she did of him in Toronto Harbor. Another theme common to many of Joyce's rugs is the notion of home. She has 3 pictorials of her homes done over the years. This is her current home in Baltimore in a folk art style. This was her home in Mississauga. And this is where Joyce grew up in Torrey Hill in Ontario. Joyce is particularly proud of the trees in this one. Speaking of things that Joyce is proud of, she's justifiably proud of this circular rug, which was shown at the OHCG annual in Ottawa in 1984. The theme for that year was tulips. What made it challenging for her was how to incorporate a repeating pattern and to do it in a circle. She chuckles when she points out that the rug is fringed rather than whipped because that was easier to do. Another rug with a story is this big one from her bedroom. She bought the pattern and the wool from her own Body Waterhouse for the grand sum of $85. Look at the pattern in the center field. That's absolutely gorgeous. Joyce was very offhand in describing these 2 rugs. They were made to use up leftovers, she says. We know she has a substantial stash of worms. Joyce also does smaller pieces. Here's a collection of pillows produced as a result of regional workshops in various locations or rug hooking schools. Joyce has been a member of branches in both Mississauga and Northumberland County. She enjoys the camaraderie we experience when we gather together and is quick to invite our group to her home for regular hook-ins. She's very often consulted on design and color issues. One of the highlights for our newer members is an opportunity to visit her home and ogle all of the wonderful rugs. And finally, this is Joyce's studio, where she keeps her cutting and design tools and a lot of other crafty paraphernalia. Well, that concludes today's house tour. We'd like to thank Iris, Dolores, and Joyce for allowing us and you into their homes for this feature. We hope you enjoyed it. Please give some thought to joining in our virtual house tour for next year's annual. All you need are some photos to assemble into a short video. We look forward to seeing what you can produce. Bye-bye.